Welcome to our Offmychest. I never thought I'd be posting something this personal here, but honestly, I don't know where else to turn. What I'm about to share has flipped my world upside down in a way I couldn't have imagined. It's raw, it's painful, and I just need to get it out. I'm a 17-year-old high school senior living in a small town in Ohio. My family has been through a lot over the past few years, but this recent discovery is something I never saw coming. My parents divorced when I was 14, and since then, I've been trying to navigate a new normal with my mom and dad living apart. I'm your typical teenager juggling school, friends, and trying to figure out who I am. Before all this happened, I thought I had a decent relationship with both my parents. I live with my mom, but I see my dad almost every weekend. I go to a local public high school, and like most teens, I have a group of friends. One of those classmates is Emily. She's someone I'm friendly with, but never really close to. But here's where things get complicated. Less than 2 weeks ago, I found out something about my dad and Emily that shook me to my core. I'm still trying to process it, and honestly, I'm scared of what this means for my family and for me. This is my story. Growing up, my dad was always kind of the fun parent. He wasn't super strict, but he cared in his own way. We had our ups and downs, like any father and kid, but I always felt like I could talk to him about most things. He's a music lover, always playing guitar around the house, and I think that's one of the things that made him easy to connect with. Before my parents divorced, our family life was pretty normal. My dad worked in sales and traveled occasionally for work. He had a friendly, outgoing personality and was popular in our town. After the divorce, things changed a lot. My mom and dad had their issues, but I always believed they still cared about me the same way. Once the divorce happened, my dad started dating again. At first, it was just casual, nothing serious. He'd mentioned going out with someone, but I never really met any of his girlfriends. I tried not to judge or get involved. It was his life. I wanted him to be happy, even if it was weird seeing him move on. At school, Emily was just another face in the crowd. She's in my grade, same classes sometimes, and we'd say hi or exchange small talk in the hallways. She wasn't in my close friend group, but we were on good terms. She's a bit quieter than me and kept to herself mostly. I never would have imagined she'd end up playing a big role in my family drama. Looking back now, I realize I missed a lot of signs, but back then, nothing felt strange. My relationship with both my dad and Emily seemed separate and normal. That's why what happened next caught me completely off guard. It started with little things that didn't make sense at first. I noticed my dad texting someone a lot late at night, which wasn't unusual by itself, but then he began acting a bit secretive. He'd quickly close his phone when I walked by or change screens like he was hiding something. I brushed it off at first, thinking maybe it was just private stuff. Then there was Emily. She suddenly seemed more confident at school, almost like she was hiding a secret smile. One day, I saw her and my dad standing close outside a local coffee shop when I went to pick up my little sister. They looked different, not like friends. There was a kind of warmth and awkwardness between them that made me stop and stare. I also overheard a conversation between Emily and one of her friends where she nervously said something about making it work and being careful. I had no idea what she meant, but something about it set off alarm bells in my head. For days, I wrestled with my thoughts. Could my dad really be dating Emily? That seemed impossible. She's my age, practically a kid, and he's my father. The idea felt wrong on so many levels. At first, I thought I was imagining things or that it was just a misunderstanding. I didn't want to believe it. But the more I tried to ignore the signs, the heavier the feeling in my chest became. A knot of confusion and dread grew inside me. I started questioning everything I thought I knew about my dad, Emily, and my own family. It was a mix of disbelief and fear. I didn't want to ruin anything without proof, but deep down, I knew I couldn't avoid facing the truth forever. The moment I found out about my dad and Emily was like a punch to the gut. I wasn't prepared for it at all. It happened one Saturday afternoon when I went over to my dad's house to pick up some things I had left behind. I heard voices coming from the living room and recognized Emily's laugh, soft and familiar. My heart started racing, but I tried to stay calm. I peeked through the slightly open door and froze. There they were, sitting close on the couch, holding hands. My dad was looking at her with this smile I'd never seen before, like she was the most important person in the world. Emily was blushing but didn't pull away. It was obvious. They were more than just friends. I wanted to turn and run, but I couldn't. I was rooted to the spot, feeling a storm of emotions crash inside me. Shock first. I couldn't believe my eyes. Then came anger. How could they do this to me? How could my dad date someone my own age, let alone my classmate? I felt betrayed, like the ground beneath me had crumbled. I stormed in before they even noticed me and demanded to know what was going on. My dad looked caught off guard, like he was caught red-handed, and Emily just stared, wide-eyed. The words stumbled out of my mouth. Questions, accusations, confusion. But they didn't give me the answers I needed. Dad was quiet, almost distant, and Emily said she didn't mean to hurt me. That confrontation left me numb. I didn't know what to believe anymore. I thought I knew my dad, but now everything felt like a lie. I left his house that day feeling like my whole world was falling apart. The people I trusted most were hiding something huge, and I was left alone in the middle of it. After that day, everything spiraled. I couldn't focus on school or anything else. My mind was consumed with what I'd seen and the questions I had no answers to. I felt lost and betrayed, like the people I loved had betrayed me in the worst way possible. At school, I tried to act normal, but inside, I was breaking. I couldn't look Emily in the eye without feeling sick. I avoided my friends because I was afraid they'd judge me or think I was crazy for what I was dealing with. I felt completely alone. Home was no better. My mom noticed I was distant and asked if something was wrong, but I couldn't bring myself to tell her the truth. How do you explain that your dad is dating a girl your age, and that girl is someone you know from school? I was afraid it would tear the family apart even more. The betrayal cut deep. I questioned everything. My dad's love for me, my own worth, and who I could trust anymore. Nights were the hardest. I'd lie awake, replaying the scene at his house, feeling the sting of tears I tried to hold back. My thoughts became a storm I couldn't escape. I even started doubting myself. Was I overreacting? Was this my fault somehow? The guilt was overwhelming. I felt like an outsider in my own life. I wondered if anyone else had gone through something this confusing and painful. The weight of it all was crushing. My grades slipped, and I stopped caring about things I used to enjoy. Friends noticed, but I just told them I was stressed and didn't want to talk. Inside, I felt like I was drowning, and nobody could see it. Eventually, I knew I couldn't keep everything bottled up anymore. I needed to confront both my dad and Emily again, to get answers and maybe find some closure. The first time, I sat down with my dad in his living room. I asked him directly if he was really dating Emily. He hesitated and then admitted it, but said it was complicated and that he never wanted to hurt me. His words felt hollow. I told him how wrong it was, how this wasn't just any girlfriend, but someone my age and from my school. He looked away, said he understood, but didn't promise to stop. That crushed me more than I expected. Then I confronted Emily at school. She was nervous but defended herself, saying she didn't plan for things to happen this way. She said my dad made her feel special and that she never wanted to hurt me. Her voice cracked as she spoke, and I wasn't sure if it was guilt or fear. Both of them seemed caught between guilt and selfishness. The more I pushed, the more tension grew. Conversations turned cold or explosive. Family dinners were filled with silence or sharp words. I felt like I was watching my family break apart, piece by piece. Sometimes my dad shut down and refused to talk. Other times he tried to justify his choices. Emily avoided me or gave vague answers. I didn't know who to believe, and it made everything worse. The conflict wasn't just with them. My mom was hurt and angry, and my friends didn't know how to help. I felt trapped in a storm of emotions, and the people I needed most were either part of the problem or nowhere to be found. The fallout didn't just affect me. It rippled through the whole family. My mom was crushed when she found out about Dad and Emily. She stopped smiling like she used to and became quieter, more withdrawn. Sometimes I'd catch her staring off into space, tears in her eyes, and I knew she was hurting deeply but didn't want to show it. My siblings didn't say much, but I could see the tension whenever we were all in the same room. The easy jokes and teasing that once filled our home were replaced by awkward silences or forced smiles. Family dinners became rare, and when they happened, the air was thick with unspoken words and resentment. At school, things got harder too. Some classmates found out about the situation and whispered behind my back.